Now, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a wildlife adventure. And where better to spend this adventure than in Kruger National Park. 7,500 square miles over 22 days. And this time, I'm going to take you along with me. I've invested in high-end, high-definition cameras so that you can come along with me and see in super high resolution the animals that I see, the accommodation I'm staying in, the food I'm going to be eating, and basically everything that I experience in the Kruger over 22 days, I'm going to show you what happens. So for anyone who's never been to the Kruger, who's planning to go to the Kruger, this is going to be a great opportunity to see exactly what you're going to get when you get there. But first I'm going to give you some advice on how to pack for Kruger, what clothing to take, what equipment to take, and more importantly, what not to take. Hi, my name's Ken Hadfield. Welcome to my Better Photography and Travel channel. So first I'm going to start off with some basics on packing. It's going to be pretty hot there, but also it's going to be cold as well. In the mornings when you set out, if you're on a safari vehicle, it's going to be pretty nippy. So take some warm clothing as well as some light clothing. Preferably through the day, you're looking at light cotton clothing. Try to keep it muted colours, greens, browns, beige. Please avoid taking anything red. Pack nothing in your bag that's got red unless you're going to be staying outside of the park and you want to socialise away from the animals. Red is a massive red flag to the animals. They will avoid you or run away if they see red. So if you're going to look for the evening time, obviously it's going to be cooler of an evening, and also you're possibly going to have mosquitoes and bugs. So I would wear possibly light trousers and long sleeve shirts. If you're going to be out and about in the Kruger, and if you're going to be getting out of the car at the rest areas, that type of thing, you may find you get showers from time to time. So I would take something like this, which is a weatherproof jacket. This just folds up nicely, pulls out there, and it will protect you. It's also good if you're going on the safari vehicles and it's cold of a morning, it'll just keep the wind off you and allow you to be more comfortable. The first time I went on a safari wagon, I was in short sleeves and I shivered my way around the park for the first 2 hours. So try use something like this. Shoes. You don't need hiking boots if you're in the Kruger. You're not going to be hiking anywhere unless you go on a walk with the rangers. You really need maybe good light shoes or trainers. Be careful to make sure that they're in good condition. I had an experience a few years ago where within a few days of arriving, the sole on my shoe dropped off, and of course deep in the Kruger there was no replacements to be had, and I spent 16 days walking on the felt interior of the shoe, which was pretty uncomfortable. A wide brimmed hat. It's really important. The sun is very, very strong out there. It can burn you in a matter of minutes. The idea behind the wide brim is to actually protect you at the rear and at the front. You can take something like a baseball cap. Try for the muted colours again, green, brown, and that's okay, but watch for the back of your neck. Make sure that you put some sun protection on the back of your neck. Sunscreen, it's an obvious no-brainer. Take along some sunscreen, possibly 30 to 50 SPF, and a decent pair of sunglasses. You're going to need that whilst you're going out and about. Take your spectacles. Make sure that you've got spectacles and a spare pair. I check in my luggage for anything that I can't replace when I'm in the park and try to double up. So again, it's a no-brainer that if you've got a spare pair of spectacles, take them with you, because you're going to struggle to find something to replace them once you're in the Kruger. Flashlight. Take a decent flashlight with you, especially for the parks through the evening. You'll find that it gets dark very quickly, and when it's dark there's areas that's well lit, but there's other areas where you've got to walk along bush tracks or whatever. You may well need the use of a flashlight. Also, it's useful for if you're in a bungalow or if you're camping. You quite often get power outages. This is something I need to address now for those who are panicking about power outages. There's a lot of publicity about power outages in Africa, across the whole of South Africa, and these power outages affect all areas of South Africa. The thing about the Kruger Park is all of the parks themselves, all of the camps themselves actually have their own generators. So if the power goes off, and it does from time to time, and it can be off from a few minutes to a few hours, it will come back on again. So, you know, people who are worrying about taking cards and paying with a card for the fuel or in the shops, or worrying that there's no power so they won't be able to pay, take some cash, I would say maybe 50-50, 50% cash, 50% on a card. You will be able to use the card, as I say, because it's very, very rare. I've never seen an opportunity at the shops where I've not been able to pay by card if I wanted to. So don't worry about that. But do take a torch, because you're going to need it at some point, depending on how long you stay. Over 22 days, several times, I reckon. Small medical kit. Yeah. It's just something I would take on any travel trip, basically. This is what I steal out of my car, to equip from my car, and it's just got the basics in. You can get a much smaller one. In fact, if you go to the discount shops, you'll actually get something half that size. It's got just the basics in, just in case. I mean, it's highly unlikely you're going to need it, but you know, if you need it and it's not there, then it really is a pain. It's a bit like insurance. It's a pain to have it, but if you need it, it's a godsend when you've got it there. So take a small medical kit with you. But remember, take your own medication as well. Have a little bag to put your own medications if you're on any kind of regular medication. Take some extra stuff. Take painkillers. You can buy them in the stores, but if you use a regular brand, then you should take your own, basically. Insect repellent, you can buy it in the stores, but I take my own. It's often a lot cheaper to buy it before you go out there. And something else you need is going to be, if in case you're bitten, is antihistamine. And I have only one brand really that suits me. I've been very lucky. I've been going to Kruger 10 years and I've not yet been bitten by a mosquito. And there's a lot of hype about mosquitoes and malaria. I certainly wouldn't recommend that you don't take malarial treatment. We take it whatever. I think it's better to be safe than sorry. And what I would suggest to everybody who's worried about malaria is not to seek advice online. Don't go onto the groups and ask people who are complete strangers, because an inevitable thing that will happen, I've seen it over and over again, is people who are not bothered about getting bitten, are not bothered about getting malaria, will just say, oh, I've been 20 times and I've never ever had malaria, I've never been bitten. Well, it just takes one bug with one bite. And if that's the case, you've got the potential of dying or you've got the potential of being extremely ill for the rest of your life. So for the sake of a few pounds to take antimalarials, I would strongly suggest you seek medical advice first from your doctor in case these drugs will react with existing drugs that you're taking. But if possible, make sure that you take them with you and take them a few days before you go out there and 7 days afterwards. So you have to budget for the time you're in the park and the time before and the time after. You need a couple of days beforehand and a week afterwards. So you need 9 tablets on top of how many days that you're staying in Kruger. And I certainly wouldn't go without them, even though I've never really needed them. I know the time that I go where I don't take them, then I'm probably going to get bitten. And other thing that you need to consider is a bum bag, really handy to put your cash in, put your stuff in, but batteries and anything that you need whilst you're out and about, rather than trying to hang on to them. Use a bum bag, it's a no-brainer. Again, charger, batteries, make sure that you've got some batteries for any equipment for the torch and anything else that you might have that needs batteries. Have them packed and ready. Take rechargeable ones. You can always recharge in the bungalow or wherever you are. There's usually a power supply wherever you're staying, so you can actually recharge them. One thing I would suggest, especially if you've got children, is that when you get into your bungalow, not very many of the bungalows have TVs or something that keep you entertained. Some people are going to go, no, I don't want entertaining, I'm in the park and I want to have the full experience. Good on you, my friend. But 22 nights, I like to have a little bit of entertainment if I can, to, you know, rather than just perhaps reading a book or whatever. If you're going to get a book, if you don't want to take one with you, you can buy this book in the camps. This is fantastic. This will kind of entertain you and terrify you in equal measures, because this is 101 Kruger tales of people who've been to the Kruger, and it's telling you what's happened to them. Some great experiences, some of the experiences are absolutely terrifying, and don't be frightened by that. They're very rare, and all of these tales come to a happy ending. But that's a super book. You can buy that in the camp shops. Strongly recommend that, because you can dip in and you can dip out, because there's 101 different stories there. But bring your own reading if you want to, and also consider bringing, if you want, an iPad. You can download books on the iPad, you can download magazines on the iPad, and also if you want to, you can put some films on there if you want to have a quiet night, get a bottle of wine and watch a movie just to chill out. So I would keep some form of entertainment available to you, especially if you've got children, because you know it's a long day for the kids, and I think, you know, if you get back to the camp and you go to your bungalow, it's a long evening if they've got nothing to entertain them. So keep them busy. So that's my advice to anyone who's going to Kruger for the first time. That's the type of things you need to take with you to make sure that you've got everything for a good stay. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go and share with you very quickly the equipment that I'm going to take photographically to get the best shots that I possibly can for you in Kruger. And as I say, this time it's going to be really special because I'm going to be filming in high definition to show you exactly what the Kruger's all about. If you want to see those films, they're going to be starting in November when I get back and start to process them. I'm there for 22 nights. It's highly unlikely I'm going to be able to put them into one episode without boring the pants off everyone. So I'll be chopping them into episodes. And if you want to see those episodes, what I suggest is that you actually go to my Better Photography channel, you go to the subscribe, push the notification bell, and when those videos appear, you'll be the first to know when I've uploaded them, and you can get your first dose of Kruger Park in high definition as it is. So, some of the things I'm going to be taking with me, really important, even if you're just going and you're not doing photography, get yourself an adapter. There's not many power points in the bungalows, so you're going to make the use of things like adapters here. And I get a 3-for-1 here, put the plugs in there, and I can put an adapter in there where I can actually spread many cables for my various pieces of equipment. As you can imagine, when you see this equipment, there's an awful lot of charging for me to do. Often as not, because you can barely get a matchbox in here when I'm finished. This is a particular bag, by the way, for the airlines. It fits exactly to the specifications that the airlines need for you to put it above your head. It's got to go above my head. There's a lot of value in that. So I use this airport think tank airport travel bag, and that has compartments in for all the equipment that I need to take with me. I have a limit on what I can take, actually down to weight, so I can only use a couple of airlines. British Airways allow hand luggage for 23 kilo limit, and that means I can take all of this. On a lot of the airlines, you've got to be careful, it's only 5 to 7 kilos. I'll get barely anything across to Africa if I had to use those. So you be careful, but while you're packing, to make sure that you actually can use an airline that will take the weight of your case. That cannot go in the hold because of the value of the equipment inside it. Often as not, because I'm using a lot of space in here, I have to take cables out to fit in various bits of equipment. So I carry a little bag here and I put all my cables in there. And what I strongly suggest you do is that you make sure that you check these cables physically with the pieces of equipment before you travel. Because if you got one cable missing, it could actually screw up all of your recordings. So make sure and double, treble check that all those cables have a matching piece of equipment in your bag here. So we're now looking at chargers. These are chargers for my camera batteries. Basically, I try and take 2 sets of those. I put one in my hand luggage and I put one in my suitcase. I'll always make sure that I have the equipment I need. I'm always worried in case a suitcase goes missing. It's happened once in all the time I've been traveling, and it is an absolute nightmare. So make sure that everything that you've got in there will cover you for the entire trip. And I've got here, this is new equipment. This is my GoPro, and in here, this is a camera I'm going to be using in the car to actually show the journey facing forwards there, but I can also pop it out and use it to show around the camps, to show where I'm staying, what the facilities are, the restaurants and the food, whatever. And that's in Super HD, which I can't wait to start that using. I also put the sound equipment that I'm using to record today with a backup in there as well. So I have all the sound equipment covered as well. Card readers. Obviously, you're going to use an awful lot of cards, and I back up the card readers with additional card readers. You can get some cheap ones off the internet just in case if the card reader stops working, you're really going to be in trouble. And what I also then do is, once I've actually downloaded the cards, this is the cards that I have here. I have a pack of those cards which I'm going to use. You're going to need loads and loads of those when you're over there, because you're going to take an awful lot of photographs. I put the information from the cards onto my computer, and then I use these storage discs which are 3 terabytes each, and I'll probably carry about 5 of these to make sure in the 22 days of filming I've got plenty of room to be able to store all the information that I need to bring you some great videos at a later date. These here are camera extenders. These extend the length of the lens. Very important in Kruger. No matter what lens you've got, you can have a 2000 lens, you want a 3. You know, I've got a one long lens, I've got a medium lens, and I've also got another lens for shorter distances, which I'm going to use in the camp to show what's happening in the camp. but the extenders will work on my telephoto lenses and just give that extra bit of reach. But you want to make sure that you've got them. I'm taking with me this time a flash unit. I wouldn't normally, because I don't go out of a nighttime. There are nighttime safaris. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to actually use flash from the safari vehicle. I think they use like spotlights where you can photograph down into the bush. But I'm taking that because I'm going to be actually going into various areas of an evening to show you where you can buy food, where you can buy groceries, and what facilities are there for you to use. So I'll probably do some stills. I'm going to interlace the video with stills of the wildlife and stills of the park, just so that you can see for yourself what it's like. First time ever, sound equipment, excited about that. I've got microphone ready, that's going to be attached to my cameras. And now to the cameras. This is my Canon 5D Mark III. I use this actually with this particular lens here, which is my Canon 7200 2.8 lens, razor sharp lens. I use it at my weddings with this camera here, and to get razor sharp images of the bride and groom with a beautiful silky blurry background. And this is also can be used in the Kruger for animals that come near to the car, because that's going to happen. They actually are going to come near to the car on occasion, and if you've got a long telephoto lens, you're not going to be able to get the shot. In fact, I wouldn't have got this shot had I not had this lens and this camera at my side on the day I decided to come out of the bush, actually wander down the road towards me. I parked sideways on to the road and just shot out the window, and this guy watched me all the way down. What a beauty. Black main line, fabulous. So that's one of the cameras going to be using, and my main camera on this trip is going to be brand new kit, brand new camera, brand new lens. This is my Canon R3 mirrorless camera, together with my 100 to 500 millimeter telephoto lens. This got, for those who know about photography, it's got 8 stops of stabilization. So for videoing, what that basically means is when I'm out shooting and videoing, obviously handheld, you're going to get a bit of wobble on the end of the camera. This actually has equipment inside that balances that out and reduces the amount of shake on the camera. Vital if we're going to get some nice steady shots for you of the animals as they're walking towards the car or doing something that's of interest outside of the car. So this is going to be vital, and I've been testing it. I've only had it about 4 weeks. I've been testing it at home, and the results are stunning. And the high quality video that this takes is absolutely outstanding. And of course, the other thing you're going to need for them is spare batteries. They've got batteries inside already, but I'll take some spare batteries, which I'll be able to use out in the field if I need to. These batteries last an awful long time, and it's rare that I have to swap to a secondary battery, but you've got to have them just in case you need them outside. And that's pretty much the spread of equipment I'll be taking to get the very best of the wildlife in Kruger. I hope you tune in to see the video when it's ready. Sometime in November, I'll be starting a series of these videos. And but say if you subscribe and push the notification button, then you'll be the first to know. So hopefully I'll be able to see you in November. Until then, see you next time on the Better Photography and Travel channel.